Hey, hi, my friend. Good evening and warm welcome to the lecture. Good evening. Hope you are doing good. Yeah, we are in the last couple of days to complete this particular year, and I trust all is well and things are going good. And here we start. On this note, let me quickly give a background to what we are trying to do. So, we have just launched a new course wherein we will do this entire journey of CAT 22 or CAT 23. So preferably already in the initially the foundation stage would match for both of you, both the learners of CAT 22 as well as the learners of CAT 23. What we are doing here is we will do it in this learning in four stages. The stage one, we will do the foundation. So wherein we kind of try and solidify, consolidate the concepts that we learned up to 10th standard, or maybe few topics which are learned under during the 11th and 12th standard. So once we finish that, we will go ahead and we will take a look at the intermediate stage of problem. So which are kind of take you to about 95 percentile in CAT. Right, the foundation itself will take you in excess of 80 percentile when it comes to a CAT like exam. Right, and a little bit of intermediate stage when we do the intermediate stage maybe 2 months down the line. So maybe in the month of Feb we will start the intermediate stage and would continue for 2.5 3 months because that's a critical stage of learning. Followed by we will try and do the advanced stage of learning, which might take another two. Right, so that is advanced stages technically to take us from 95 to 100%. Right, that's how we are kind of looking at this, and we will also introduce the LRDIs in between that. So I will let you know when we are planning to introduce the LRDI. For the time being, let's continue our journey with quant, and we divided the quant into four modules: number, arithmetic, algebra, and geometry. Right, so we are doing the foundation on numbers, and we were doing a little bit about the factors in the last page. So we will continue our journey on factors today as well. Before that, quickly allow me to do the introduction. So I'm Belvi Srinivas. I've been working in the test prep industry for the last 14 years, that is since 2007. I worked in various capacities, both on the management side of it as well as on the training side of it. On the training side, I did train the students as well as the faculty members in the space of QA, DI, and LR. And yes, so you can look from this particular deck, so where the credentials of where I worked. And yes, so not only that, I also mentored the students from the stage of their preparation planning until the test planning, and then to getting into the top B schools, their interviews, the GDs and PI. That's briefly about me with respect to the testing perspective. And here comes how do you reach out to me. You can reach out to me with your concerns, the doubts that you have, so on using one of these two Telegram channels. Right, so it were the doubts from the lectures it could be, or in general concerns that you have, or the general issues that you would like to discuss, which should be brief and to the point. You can always plug it on these Telegram channels. Not only there are many active students on this particular Telegram channels. You can also have some peer interaction, peer learning alongside. Yeah, that's pretty much about how we can reach out to each other. There is one interesting feature the Unacademy Learners app has. So be it a desktop app or be it a mobile app. So it has this one interesting feature called as Ask It Out feature. So you might, as you start preparing, you might start getting the doubts. So as in when you get some doubts, you can plug those particular doubts on this particular app, and you can pick the language in which you want to get it to be addressed. And one of the educators will certainly take time, and they will put the response to your questions either in the written format or in the recorded verbal format, right? Whichever the format, audio video format. So based upon the based upon the difficulty level of the question, it's a self-navigating tool. Just in case on your dashboard, if you don't see this particular feature, ask it out. If you don't see this particular feature, then probably you might have to reinstall, you might have to uninstall the app and reinstall the app, or refresh the app so that then all new features can be seen on your app. Yeah, just in case if anybody has taken the CAT 21 here, CAT 2021, you can register for MBA champions. So MBA champions is, if you register and based on your good CAT score, CAT percentile, you will get rewards up to 10 times your subscription. Whatever the subscription fee that you have paid, you will get the reward up to 10 times, right, based on your performance in CAT 21. All right, that sets us to the discussion of the topic. So let me get on to the topic here. Warm welcome again. Good evening to all of you and warm welcome. So let's get on to this. So what we were doing is we were doing the factors in the last couple of days. We were discussing a few things about the factors. Of course, your journey with the factors started at the age of 10 years. So when you were in the class 4 is the first time the kids hear about the factors, and then the journey starts from there. We kind of looked at some of the elements of the factors, and we reached one critical stage of it wherein we said that a number can be written as result into a prime. We call this as the fundamental theorem of arithmetic or fundamental principle of arithmetic, whatever the name that you call it. A number can be expressed as prime 1 raised to power a, prime 2 raised to power b, and prime 3 raised to power c, etc. So then we said that the number of factors of this particular number is nothing but a plus 1, b plus 1 and c plus 1, right? This is one thing that we kind of learned, and after this we did a couple of questions built around this particular concept as well, as to just to understand that, hey, what are the varieties of things that we are trying to do with this particular concept, right? So we kind of counted odd factors, the even factors, the prime factors, the factors which are perfect squares. We did variety of things that we kind of do it in the high school, or maybe sometimes some of the curriculums you might have done this in the 11th standard as well. That's what we kind of try to take a look at. That's one aspect. Then yesterday's lecture, in addition to this, in the yesterday's lecture we also learned that one of the applications of the factors, now that we understood how to count the factors, now that we understood how to count the factors, we tried and write the number. How do I write a given number as a product of two factors? We did three cases in this one. The given number is not a perfect square, right? This is one thing that we did. The second thing is the given number is a perfect square. Then under this there were two cases, two minor cases, a and b. Therefore, how do I write it as a product of two factors? Then the third thing is how to write the given number as a product of two co-prime factors, right? Product of two co-prime factors. Now these are the three things that we discussed. One application, the application one. Let me call this as application 1 of the number of factors of the number. This is what we kind of did yesterday, right? So what we'll do is we will see the application 2 on this, right? We will see the application 2 on knowing the number of factors, which means once I learned how to count the number of factors, what can be the typical application, right? Typical application 1 is how to write the given number as a product of two factors, right? Technically nothing but simply put in one line, if I were to remember, number of factors of the number divided by 2. Roughly broad perspective is this. Similarly, application 2 is, hey, what is the product of all the factors of the number? That is f1 into f2 into f3. Assume that f1 is a factor, f2 is a factor, f3 is a factor. Likewise, up to fn are the factors. Hey, what can be the product of all the factors of the number? That's what we are trying to explore now. This is what we'll explore maybe in the first 10-15 minutes of today, and then we will get on to the sum of the factors, second concept. This I did only one concept. What is the concept? How to find the number of factors. And I am doing two applications on number of factors. Then we will do the second one, which is nothing but sum of the factors. That's another concept in itself. Fair enough. Let's get on to this. So having understood that, let's get on to this. Let's take a look at this simple number called 72. All right, this is our standard number, for example, right? So because through the last two lectures we've been talking about this number called 72. If I take a number 72, if I want the product of all the factors of 72, let's say that I want the product of all the factors of 72, what does happen then? So it happens something like this. Okay, first we'll find the factors. 1 is a factor, 2 is a factor, 3 is a factor, 4 is a factor, 6 is a factor, 8 is a factor. I will write on the opposite side, because 1 into 72 is 72. Then 2 into 36 is 72, 3 into something is 72, that is 3 into 24 is 72, 4 into something is 72, that is 4 into 18 is 72, 6 into something is 72, that is 6 into 12 is 22, 8 into something is 72, that is 8 into 9 is 72. That's what we learned, which means one column will have the factors less than or equal to root 72. Other side we will have the factors which are greater than root 72. This is where we started our journey with the factors. Fair enough. Now what I want, how many factors are there? 12 factors. If I count them, I have 12 factors. 6 on this side and 6 on this side. 12 factors. What is this author trying to ask? Why don't you tell me the product of all these 12 factors, right? That is the question. In the sense, all right, author is trying to ask me that, hey, multiply all of them. In fact, all of them needs to be multiplied like this, right? All of them needs to be multiplied like this. all of them, in the sense a 1 into 72, all right, this is one bracket, into, all right, this is 1 into 72, into 2 into 36, all right, 2 into 36, into another one, 3 into 24, right, 3 into 24, and so on. This is how you got to keep doing it until you write the last pair, which is 8 into 9. So technically speaking, what is this? This pair is 72, in the sense that this is technically 72. This is another 72. This is another 72, right? This is another 72. So technically you are trying to say that this is 72, this is 72, this is 72. All right, I'm just writing for visual understanding, proper visual understanding. This is 72. Likewise, you would think that how many times I wrote these 72s. You understand that this 72 has been written 6 times. One time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, and sixth time. Therefore, you say that product of all the factors of 72 is nothing but 72 raised to power 6. It is nothing but 72 raised to power 6, right? Because you went on to write it for 6 times. Now you understand that, okay, this number is fine. What if there is a large number? What if there is a number 1200? What is the product of all the factors of 1200? Let's understand the logic. Why I put this in two different senses. I put in one perspective here, horizontal perspective. I put it in a vertical perspective, whichever way that you would like to connect with this question. But I wanted you to connect with this question. This question is technically speaking nothing but if there is a number n, if there is a number n, and if I want the product of all the factors, product of all factors of n, product of all factors of n, then my answer for this would look like n raised to power number of factor pairs, n raised to power number of factor pairs, that is number of factors divided by 2, right? Yeah, so you will simply look at this. Say there was a number 72. How would I have done this now? 72 can be written as 2 raised to power 3 into 3 raised to power 2, right? This is how you would have written 72. Hey, what are the factors of 72? The number of factors of 72 is 2. I will expand it to 3. 2, I will expand it to, all right, 4 into 3. It has 12 factors. So therefore you say that the product of all factors of 72 here, therefore the product of all factors of 72 is 72 raised to power number of factor pairs, because number of factors are 12 factor pairs, because there is a logical pairing that you are trying to connect, right? Logical pairing is what you are looking at. 1 paired with 72, 2 paired with 36, 3 paired with 24. Logical pairs is what you are trying to do there. So number of logical pairs, and hence it becomes 72 raised to power 6. I'm hoping that you got the perspective here, right? So what I'm trying to say is, okay, so how to find the number of how to find the product of all factors of n? Probably you may have to remember this. Product of all the factors of n is nothing but this, given n is equal to prime raised to power a, prime raised to another prime raised to power b, another prime raised to power c, etc. We already know that the number of factors of n is nothing but a plus 1, b plus 1, c plus 1. We know that the product of all factors of n is nothing but n remains the base, and you have to raise it to the power called as the factor pairs. You got to raise it to the power factor pairs. All right, yeah, keep your book and keep your pen ready, and probably, all right, now as we start doing, if you have to note down certain things, probably this is one thing you wanted to note down about this application that we are doing now. We will do a couple of questions to understand that, okay, I got hang of this, and then we will go on to the second topic of study, right? Yeah, so that sets us for the one of the questions. What I do is I'll just give about 20-30 seconds, reflect on this particular question. 20-30 seconds. If you got the point, why don't you quickly put this answer to perspective? Please reflect with your thought. Take about 20 seconds. Just take about 20 seconds to understand what is this question. Yeah, just think over it for 20 seconds. What is it about? Yeah, okay. So firstly, all right, I need to write 180. I need to do FTA, fundamental theorem of arithmetic, on 180. What does it mean? I look at this 180, start resolving it. Hey, this is 18 into 10. What is a 10? A 10 is 2 into 5. What is an 18? 18 is 2 into 3 raised to power 2. Together, how do I write therefore? Therefore, you say that 2 into 2, 2 square, and then you have 3 square into 5 raised to power 1. This is my 180. Therefore, how many factors? Say factors of 180. How many factors 180 has? 2 becomes 3, 2 becomes 3, 1 becomes 2. right? So therefore you say that total number of factors are nothing but 18, right? So therefore 180 has 18 factors. Now the product of all the factors is one number raised to power factor pairs. That's what we were talking about, number raised to power factor pairs. Yeah, what is the number? Number is 180, therefore put that is the number. Factor pairs is 18 divided by 2. Factor pairs 18 divided by 2, which is nothing but 180 raised to power 9. Very simple application, right? Pretty simple application. So once you understand this, these are all applications built on the factors. Writing the factor pairs, just find out the factors there by writing the product of factors is no big deal. It's a pretty simple question, right? Okay, now here comes a teasing questions built on this particular concept. This is how you find the number of product of all the factors of the number. Okay, now what about this? What about this question? Take 30 seconds and try and figure out what about this particular question. Go ahead, think about this. Take 20-30 seconds there. Yeah, okay. So 144 has odd number of factors, no doubt about it. So therefore you rewrite this as, okay, 144, you say 144 is nothing but 12 square. So I'm doing FP on this. 144 is nothing but 12 square. 12 square is nothing but 2 raised to power 2 into 3 raised to power 1 whole square. Therefore you say that it is nothing but 2 raised to power 4 and 3 raised to power 2. Fantastic, brilliant. Therefore you say that 144 is nothing but 2 raised to power 4 into 3 raised to power 2. That is nothing but our 144. Fair enough. So therefore, hey, what is the factors of this particular number? Factors of 144. Factors of 144 is 5 into 3, which is equal to 15. 144 has 15 factors, right? Yeah, it has 15 factors. Good. So 15 factors, therefore what is the product of all the factors? You would be certainly writing this as 144 raised to power 15 by 2, right? It would look like this, factor pairs, because it has 15 factors, and then you call this as 144 raised to power 15 by 2. This is the number of factor pairs that you are writing. But this answer looks a little absurd and weird. No worries. So it is, the answer is correct. This is the answer. The product of all factors of this is nothing but this. But you may think that, sir, isn't it absurd? Isn't it under root of something? Certainly not, because 144 is also nothing but 12 square. Write it. All right, now this particular number is 144 raised to power 15 by 2. Okay, what is 144? 12 square. 12 square raised to power 15 by 2. 2 and 2 get cancelled. Therefore, technically your answer is nothing but 12 raised to power 15. That is the simplified form of this particular answer. Answer can be written as 12 raised to power 15. Product of all the factors of 144 is nothing but 12 raised to power 15. Pretty simple concept. I hope you would have got the hang of this particular concept. So technically speaking, what we are saying, product of all the factors is nothing but n raised to power factor pairs. N raised to power factor pairs. But when it becomes a perfect square, so we know that when it becomes a perfect square, the perfect square would have odd number of factors. Right? It's a perfect square. Only perfect squares have odd number of factors. If it is odd number of factors, you might get a doubt that, hey, odd number, how can I divide by 2? But the point is, your base is a perfect square. Since your base is a perfect square, you can rewrite 144 as 12 square. Thereby, the 2 gets cancelled, and you will finally write the simplified form of the answer as 12 raised to power 15. Right? You don't have to panic, and you don't have to change that concept on the formula as well. You don't have to change that either. Right? You just accommodates it. You just may have to simplify it a little bit here and there. All right, good. That brings us to a little subset of the kind of the problem. Yeah, take a look at this. Maybe I will give about 20 seconds to think over it. How do you approach this? This time I don't want the product of all the factors. We want the product of only odd factors. Product of only odd factors of this particular number. How one should go about finding the product of odd factors of this particular number. Think about it. I'll just give 10 seconds, 15 seconds to watch over, think over. How do you go about this? right? Yeah, just like we did yesterday. First of all, let me take this 360, do FP, do FTC on this, fundamental theorem of arithmetic, FT on this, do FT on this. 360 is 336 into 10. What is 36? 36 is nothing but 2 square into 3 square, that's 36. What about 10? 10 is 2 into 5. Put them together, therefore you say that all right, 360 is nothing but 2 raised to power 3, 3 raised to power 2 into 5 raised to power 1. This forms my 360. Right? Okay. Yeah, what are the factors of 360? Therefore, total number of factors of 360. Total number of factors are nothing but 4, and this is 3, and this is 2. Right? So therefore, you call this as, that is call this as 24. Good. So therefore, all factors. If I say not odd, had I said all factors on this question, product of all factors, then your answer could have been 360 raised to power 24 by 2. Alright, that is nothing but 360 raised to power 12. But this is not what I'm expecting. This is not what I'm expecting. What I'm expecting is, I want only odd factors of this particular number. I'm expecting only odd portions, not all. This is all. I am not interested in all. Only odd factors of this. What do you mean by odd factors of this? Just like we studied yesterday. Hey man, the total sample size is this. Right, this is the population, in the sense the total sample size. What is the active sample size? Yesterday we were talking about it, active, passive and total, right? So I need to find out the active sample size here. If I want the odd factors are generated by only odd numbers. Odd into odd is odd. All right, even number, if the even number comes into it, it never remains odd, because odd into even becomes even. So therefore, all right, now what I need to do here, this becomes passive. 2 raised to power 3 becomes passive. Therefore, what is the active sample size? The active sample size is 3 raised to power 2 into 5 raised to power 1. This is the active sample size. This is the active sample size. Okay, now look at this. Hey, total sample size. Listen to this very carefully. Total sample size is 2 raised to power 3, 3 raised to power 2 into 5 raised to power 1. This is the total sample size. Total sample size, the base for total sample size is 360. Now this is the base. What is the base here? 360. Total sample size has a base, right? On that base only you will find the total sample size. Base and the sample size go together. Total number, which means complete number, is 360. The total sample size is this. But what I am talking about here, I am talking about the active sample size and the active base. There are two words you have to remember: active sample size and the active base. What is the active sample size? This. Why this has become active sample size? Because I am removing this 2 raised to power 3 for a simple reason that I want product of all odd factors. Therefore, odd factors means I need to keep this 2 raised to power 3 away. The even part I need to set it aside. I need to set it apart. Right, yeah, I set it aside. Now I'm getting this 2 raised to power 3. Therefore, what is this base? This itself is the base. What is 3 square, my friends? 9. What is 5 power 4? 5 power 1? 5. What is 9 into 5? 45. Therefore, remember, base and the active sample size go together. Therefore, this was the total base. 360 was the total base. Now 45 is the required active base. There is an active base which is built on the active sample size. I hope you are getting these words, right? So based on the question, you need to understand that what is active and what is passive. All right, I take the active size here. This 2 can be permuted in 3 ways. This 1 gets permuted in 2 ways. Therefore, 3 into 2, which becomes 6 factors. Now what do? I will write the active base, product of all odd factors. Now I'm writing product of all odd factors. Now I will find the active base. Active base is 45. That is the active base. Active base raised to power this number of factors generated by active base. How many factors you generated by active base? 6 factors you generated. But 6 is not what I want. It's factor pairs I want. Therefore 6 divided by 2, which would become 45 raised to power 3. That is the difference, right? Product of all factors would look like 360 raised to power 12. That is how the product of all factors look like. However, the product of odd factors is nothing but 45 raised to power 3. There is a difference. Okay, so in this question I talked about, hey, how the total is different from active part, right? There is a total number and there is an active part of the number which comes as a base, right? This is a total base which is 360. If you want the active base, it becomes only 45, right? Based on the active active base, there is an active region, and there is a passive region. You need to be very careful here. 2 raised to power 3 was passive, only the remaining part was active. You need to be very, very careful. So if you want to understand more about this active and passive part of it, please refer to the previous day's lecture, yesterday's lecture, where I spoke about the factors. I spoke extensively about it, maybe for about 30 minutes or so, and you'll get a complete understanding of it. Maybe after this lecture you can go back to that lecture, and you can also listen to that particular lecture for a while. You'll get a complete understanding of that. Fair enough, right? Now this concludes 2 applications built on the factors. We looked at the factors, and yesterday we did one of the applications. Application 1 we did, which is nothing but writing the given number as a product of 2 factors. Today what we do, we did the application 2, alright, we did application 2, in which we learned how to find the product of all factors. Both are built upon the understanding of number of factors, right? Okay, now I will get into some of the factors, but before which, let me do quickly few announcements, and then we will get on to the how to find the sum of the factors of the number. Now that we understood how to generate the factors, how do I add them? That's the next thing that we kind of quickly discuss, maybe after this quick announcement. Yeah, there are some batches set to launch today, 29th of December, that's today. So this is called as a basic batch. Now these are structured batches, plus courses, or we call them as iconic courses. Now these are the structured courses. The structured courses means if you go to this particular batch, percentiler batch, so if you go, and each of these educators would have done 3 to 5 minutes of video, right? A short video would have been uploaded by them to tell that what they want to teach as a part of this particular course, which means in this month how they want you to take from one stage to the other stage. What is the objective of this particular batch? Every batch has an objective, right? Every batch has an objective. There is something already, no weekend morning batch also, which started on 25th of December. You can take a look at this. These educators would have uploaded short videos. Each one of them will speak about how they want to teach, what they want to teach, how they want you to take it from point X to point 5. Such inputs could have been given there. You need to always listen to this before you kind of get registered for that particular batch, because every week you will see 1 or 2 batches getting launched. That's true, but then every batch has its own specific objective, because some people may be very good when it comes to quantitative ability. Then you got to start your preparation at the intermediate stage. But you may be poor when it comes to verbal ability. For example, reading comprehension. I am not a voracious reader. I have not read enough. So in that case, you may probably want to start at the basic stage, right? How to identify the central idea, what kind of novels I should be reading, what kind of books I should be reading, right? You may need some guidance on that from some professors, right? Take that guidance and move on from there. That's how you need to be kind of moving ahead. So therefore, you got to identify what are your needs, and then you may have to go ahead there. Fair enough. So the how do you become a part of all these particular batches? So you may have to register yourself for one of the subscription packs, 6-month subscription pack, 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months, whatever suits your requirement. You may have to buy one of those subscription packs. On these nominal prices, you will get 10% discount. Right, if you use any of the educator code, including my code, which is Belvi 100, right, you get 10% discount. Belvi 100 doesn't mean that you get 100% discount, you still get 10% discount only. Yeah, in the sense 10% discount on 22,000 may roughly come out to be 20,000 and so on, right? So that's how you may have to buy that subscription pack, and you will get loads of other things. In addition to the structured courses, you will also get all tests are free for you throughout that particular season. All the mock cats are free, OMETs are free, sectional tests are free, right? I mean, it's not free, it is a part of that package itself. You will get access to all this part of the package, a certain amount of notes, all that thing becomes a part of this particular package. However, my preference is very clearly go for the iconic subscription. 2 types of subscriptions, one the plus, the other one is iconic subscription. What is the difference? Iconic subscription gives you to interact with the faculty member on one-to-one basis. How many? For example, you bought a 6 months pack. Let's say that you bought a 6 months iconic pack. You can avail 25 one-on-one discussions, which means I and you can speak for about 20 hours in 25 sittings. Now who decides when should I do this sitting, or what I should be discussing in this sitting? The ball is in your court. You decide that, right? For example, okay, the Jan is coming. You want to understand that what should be my study calendar, preparation calendar for Jan. We can decide. We can sit together and decide based on your strengths and weakness with respect to these particular areas. Quant, what is your strength? Verbal, what is your strength? So how should we go about this? We can sit there, and then what is your calendar in college looks like? Are you having any internals in this season? So based on that, we can figure out that how your prep calendar should look like, how many novels you should be reading, what other things that you should be doing, right? Likewise, you can do the solid. You you can kind of call it, and you can have these 25 sittings. Technically 6 months has 26 weeks, right? 25 sittings implies that, simply 25 sittings implies that every week you can discuss with your mentor, one sitting with your mentor. You can decide that particular agenda, what you want to discuss based on your needs, right? You can project your Excel, you can show that, you can show your calendar on the Excel and say that, sir, this is what I have, can we fill this calendar, how we need to go about it, all of that. In addition to, you can discuss your doubts, you can discuss your concepts. Some concepts you're not clear what you studied, so you can say that, can we discuss this one-to-one? One concept I'm not clear, shall we do that one-to-one? One RC I'm not clear, shall we do that one-to-one? All this you can do it as a part of Iconics. That's very important, because your interview preparation, all these one-to-one discussions, or your strategies for the exams, various exams that you write, one-to-ones will certainly help. Similarly, 12 months you will get 50 one-to-one interactions, which means almost one per week. In 24 months you will get 100 one-to-ones, that is almost one per week. Technically you can call it as one per week, but on all these subscriptions, again, you get 10% discount whenever you use the educator code. Whatever the subscription fee that you are seeing here, you get about 10% discount on this. So this is my preference, friends, because as a true mentor, I'm telling you that it is very important to have regular interactions during your journey, so that you don't lose your attention, the focus and the motivation. Pretty important there. Like, let's not be penny wise and pound foolish, because you are poised for bigger things, and use the platforms in the right fashion. But as of now, there is some good offer going on. That is, if you take a 6 months pack, you don't get 25 one-to-one, instead you get 35 one-to-one. Similarly, in the annual pack with 112 months, I just told you that, hey, you get 50 one-to-one, not 50 as of now. There is an offer going on, you get 70 one-to-ones in 52 weeks, which means you can get more than one-to-one per week. You can schedule. If you have a requirement, you can schedule. That's a point there. Yeah, that's pretty much about the announcements, and let me go further from here. So before I go further, Samita, you are asking something. Hmm. Amita, yes, solid. No, you don't have a choice. So you are trying to say, you are trying to ask that if my English is weak, you don't have a choice, Samita. If the idea is to get into a top-notch B school, let me give a little bit of background there. For example, if somebody is on IIM Ahmedabad campus, let's say that if somebody is on IIM Ahmedabad campus, you are expected to read anywhere between 100 to 200 pages of material every single day. That's a minimum. Call it 100 to 200. 100 is minimum. I mean, just giving a range, right? So on any given day, you might have to read somewhere between 100 to 200 pages on any single day, every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you can't read this, you cannot survive on that particular campus, right? Now, that's what the life at IIM Ahmedabad or Bangalore or Kolkata, whatever it could be, right? So on the top B schools. Now let us come to NMIMS Mumbai from there, just to give a ballpark figure, how it changes, how it affects our knowledge, and thereby how it affects our placements and few other things into the industry. For example, if I say that if you go onto the NMIMS campus, on an average they expect you to read somewhere between 30 to 40 pages, right? 30 to 40, that's a difference, right? So on one hand, IMA is expecting that you should be such a good reader that you should read 100 to 200 pages in an analytical fashion. It is not simply reading a novel or kind of stuff. Whatever you are reading is more analytical. It's all analysis. Management is all about analysis. You will take the case and start analyzing them, right? That's very important there. Similarly, if you're on the NMIMS campus, you will be doing somewhere about, right now, you are expected to read 30 to 40 pages. Now you can understand, right, what happens with the top rank to the moment you come to the 15th rank B school. You can see the gap. You can see the gap in your learning already, because somebody reading 100, 200 pages say every day for 300 days. You live on the campus for about 600 days, for example. 600 to 700 days is different from 600 to 700 days you are reading this is what you are doing. On the other hand, in some other campus, this is what you are doing. There is a difference, right? So that's a point. And hence, if somebody's language skills are not up to the mark, I always suggest that, hey, get your hold on the language. Language is more an art. Don't worry. Swimming is an art, cycling is an art. They are not by birth. Similarly, any language is an art. Just like the way you learned your mother tongue, similarly you can learn English also. You just need to focus on it. That's it. Focus on grammar, focus on vocabulary, focus on reading. So it comes automatically. You don't have to panic about it. Yeah, there are people who can guide you. So they take some guidance initially if required. Take some assistance, take some guidance, and get started. Once the ball sets rolling, it gathers the momentum. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, yeah, I think that answers your question. Hmm. Okay, Surojit, you are trying to say. Sure, Surojit. All right, man. All right, all right. Good. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You're saying that Ritu ma'am's class starts at 5. Sure enough, surely enough, surely enough. All right. Great. All right. Let us get started. Let's come to the sum of the factors on this note. Yeah. If you have any concerns there, you can put it out here or you can also put it on the Telegram group, whichever way it is. Great. All right. Let me come to the sum of the factors of the number. Right. Let me come to the sum of the factors of the number. Maybe I will give the introduction today and we can do the solving maybe sometime tomorrow or whatsoever. Some of the factors. So let me go back to how we started on the factors, right? If I look at the 72, let me go back there, spend little time because it's very, very important. Some of the factors. One concept we did, how to count the number of factors. Now we are doing the second one, how to figure out the sum of the factors, sum of all those factors. See, how did we do that? Let me go back to the way we figured out the factors. Let's go back to that particular one. 72. How about 72? What did we say? This is 2 raised to power 3 and 3 raised to power 2. From there, what did we write? We said that if it is a 2 raised to power 3, 2 power 0 divides, 2 power 1 divides, 2 power 2 divides, and 2 power 3 divides, right? That's what we said to ourselves. 2 power 4 does not divide. Which what divides what? Divides 72. 2 power 0 divides, 2 power 1 divides, 2 power 2 divides, and 2 power 3 divides because highest power of 2 is nothing but 3 here. Similarly, when I look at 3 power 2, so 3 power 0 divides, 3 power 1 divides, and 3 power 2 divides, but not 3 power 3. 3 power 3 does not divide. Divide what? Divide again a 72. Please be mindful. Divides means what? 3 power 2 divides 72, 3 power 1 divides 72, and so on. Right? That's what we are trying to say there. Okay. And the combinations also divide. How do we represent that particular thought? The combinations divide. How did we represent this? So we represented it in this fashion. So we wrote this entire stuff here like this. We said that okay, 2 power 0, there is a 2 power 1, 2 power 2, and 2 power 3. We created these cells. Then we looked at this 3 power 0, etc. Then we created the rows. 3 power 0, 3 power 1, 3 power 1, and 3 power 2. We created these rows. Right? This is what we kind of did there. Then we went on to fill this into, we went on to fill these particular gaps. Alright, we went on to fill these particular cells with a product. 1, 3 power 0 is what? 1. And 2 power 0 is what? 1. What is 1 into 1? That is 1. That's what we wrote there. Then here again, 3 power 0 into 2 power 1. We wrote that particular value, which is 2. Right? 3 power 0 into 2 power 2. We wrote that particular value. Row and the column. We wrote that particular value. 4 here and 8 here. Okay, Sumita, starting basic class. Yeah, all right, yeah. So then again, 3 power 1. So 3 power 1 and 2 power 0. That is 1 into 3. I'm writing those numbers here. 3, the next number 6, the next number 12, the next number 24. Similarly, 3 power 2 and 2 power 0. When you fill this, the box would become 9. Here, 3 power 2, 9 into 2. All right, the box would become 18. And so on. Fill the other box there. All right, it will become 36 and 70. Now the point is, author is saying that, hey man, why don't you add all these numbers? Good, you produced all these numbers. I want you to add 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus another 3 plus 6 plus this plus this plus. This is what you mean by sum of the factors of the number. Technically speaking, what do you mean by sum of the factors of the numbers? So you got to be adding all these particular factors called as the sum of the factors of the number. So how do I do this mathematically? A little bit of GP. Now suddenly you may say that, oh, from where you are getting algebra now, right? Arithmetic progression, geometric progression. Those who understand, try to understand. Otherwise, I will give a formula at the end of it. Remember the formula. When we do the algebra foundation, we are doing number foundation. When we do the algebra foundation, we will spend little more time on geometric progression. You become more familiar to assimilate those thoughts, right? For the time being, let's leave those who can understand, yeah, arithmetic progression, geometric progression, something we studied there. Arithmetic progression means the difference is constant. Geometric progression means ratio is constant. If it is sounding like Greek and Latin, don't worry about it. If it is sounding like, yeah, something familiar what we did in the high school, follow it. What do we mean by this? Now listen, say I need to add all these fellows technically, right? I need to add this, and add this, which becomes the sum of all the factors of this particular number. That's what I need to do. But should I be writing all of them like this and then trying to add? Definitely not. That is not what is been expected out of it, right? It's not that, okay, I write all of them and then I keep adding those particular numbers. Then how do I represent this? This is where the GP comes in the picture. In the sense, you take this, you take these numbers, 2 power 0, add 2 power 1, put here 2 power 2, then you add 2 power 3, which means you add these factors and consolidate this. Just add these factors. Right, and similarly, so this numbers multiply this another bracket, this bracket I am writing, you write it as 3 power 0, 3 power 1 and 3 power 2. Now listen to me carefully, right? Take this, multiply 1 into 1, 1 plus, okay, then take this and multiply 1 into 2, 2 plus, right? Yeah, then 1 into 4, 4 plus, right? Then 1 into 8 is 8 plus. Okay, now this is over, and this is what is over, plus. I'm continuing to write plus here. 3 into 1, so that becomes 3 plus, right? Yeah, then 3 into 2, which becomes 6 plus, right? Therefore 3 into 4, which is 12 plus, right? 3 into 8, all it, which is nothing but 24. Now you start seeing, yeah, all this looks familiar. Hey, there is a 1 here, say where are these particular numbers? Here they are. Hey, there is a 1, you wrote that 1. There is a 2, you wrote that 2. There is a 4, you wrote that 4. There is a 8, you wrote this 8. There is a 3, you wrote that 3. There is a 6, you wrote that 6. Like this, now you start multiplying this with this, you will write the last numbers also, which means you start writing 9 plus 18 plus 36 plus 72. All right, this is the answer that I'm expecting. This is the sum of the factors of the number. This is what I'm technically expecting here. But the point is, how do I go about writing this? Okay, this understood. Now look at this. All right, now so this is what it is. So therefore, I just proved that writing these brackets would help. All right, we wrote this particular brackets. Next, what? Yeah, so this is GP. If you look at this, these are in geometric progression. Sum of 4 terms of GP. 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3. You may wonder, sir, why they are in GP. Now look at this. You keep multiplying by 2, you get the next number. Multiply this by 2, you get the next number. Multiply this by 2, you get the next number. Therefore, you say that, hey, these terms are in GP. Common ratio is 2. Common ratio is 2. How do I write the sum? Therefore, if you have a 2 power 3, write the next number 2 power 4 minus the first number 2 power 0, which is 1, divided by common ratio minus 1. If you didn't understand this, I will give the formula. So this is what you will be doing. Now similarly here, this is also common ratio is 3. All right, into 3 and into 3. How do I write the sum of this here? Sum of this is nothing but 3 raised to power 3, because after 3 raised to power 2, if I were to write the next one, what do I write? 3 raised to power 3. Write that 3 raised to power 3 minus 1. What is this minus 1? The first term, that is 3 power 0, divided by common ratio minus 1. What is common ratio? This number 3. This is nothing but the common ratio, 3 minus 1. Therefore, let me come back, and if you didn't understand so far, don't panic. As long as you kind of understood this, okay, then I expanded and showed it here. Till here, if you understood, it is fine. Not understood, still fine. But remember this, if you didn't understand, there is a GP. Just understand this, sum of the factors. The undercurrent is geometric progression. Just remember this. I will speak more about this when I go to geometric progression. For the time being, just understand that, okay, it is the sum of the factors. Now just remember this formula for the time being. If number can be represented as prime 1 raised to power a, prime 2 raised to power b, and prime 3 raised to power c, all it so on and so forth, then sum of the factors, let me write it Sn. What is Sn? Sum of the factors of the number is prime 1 raised to power a plus 1, which means whatever the number a you see, increase it by 1 and then subtract 1 from there and divide it by prime 1 minus 1. Hey, this is nothing but the GP up to n terms, my friend. This is GP up to n terms. If it is looking like a Greek and Latin, don't worry about it. You could have forgotten the geometric progression formula. That's it. So once we do more of geometric progression, it comes automatically. It doesn't take any mind space to write it. Yeah. Similarly, look at the second one. Hey, how do I write this particular one? This, looking at this, you wrote this. How do I write this? P2 raised to power b plus 1 minus 1 divided by P2 minus 1. This is what you could have written. Okay, now apply this on 72. Come back, and why don't you apply this on 72? N, which is nothing but my 72, is nothing but 2 raised to power 3 into 3 raised to power 2. How do I write the sum of all the factors of 72? Sum of all the factors of 72. Therefore, look at this 2 raised to power 3. Write the next one. If you are seeing 2 raised to power 3, it's practically. Try to remember it practically. Write the next power. If it is 3, write the next power, which is 2 raised to power 4. Subtract simply 1 from here, always 1, divided by 2 minus 1. What is this 2 you are getting? This 2 is the base, prime base, right? That is the prime base. Good. And similarly, look at this fellow and write the next term there. Look at the fellow and write the next term. You look at 3 power 2, write 3 power 3, because here you have 3 power 2. Write the next power. Simply write the next power. 3 power 3 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 1. Okay, can I simplify this? Of course you can simplify, no big deal. 2 power 4 is nothing but 16. 16 minus 1, 15. 15 divided by 1. On one hand, 3 power 3 is 27. 27 minus 1 is nothing but 26 divided by 2. That is 15 into 13 is what you are kind of technically talking about, right? So which is nothing but 195, which is my answer. Right, which is my answer. No big deal. Calculation is no big deal. Once I learn to write this, we are done with the task. So okay, let's do a couple of examples and we will wind up. So what I expecting you to remember here, I am expecting you to remember this particular portion, memory portion. Please keep a pen and a book and note it down somewhere. All right, kindly note this down somewhere. This is the memory part of it. Two memory parts I told you today. One, the product of the factors. If there is a number n, product of the factors of the number is n raised to power number of factors divided by 2. This is one memory tool I asked you to remember for the product of the factors. Second memory tool here is a sum of all the factors has to be represented in this particular fashion. Two memory tools. Right, that's what it is. Okay, let me do a couple of questions here. I think it should be clear. At least remember this memory part. We will do a couple of questions, then we will go on. Right, we will go on. We'll conclude the class. Yeah, let's take a look at this question. Find the number, let the number n be 360. Question is, find the sum of factors of n. Why don't you find sum of the factors of n? Do it with me. There is no hurry. You do it with me. So let's write this number 360. What is this number 360? You say that a 36 is nothing but 2 raised to power 2 and 3 raised to power 2. What is this 10? 10 is nothing but another 2 into 5. Together it is 2 raised to power 3 because 2 raised to power 2 into 2. Together it is 2 raised to power 3 into 3 raised to power 2 into 5 raised to power 1. Okay, this is my 360. Nice. Now this is my total sample size. I told you before. Am I calculating on the total or should I take any active portion out of that? You need to be very careful about it. Sometimes we don't need the total. A part of the total becomes active. You need to hook on to only that active portion. But here, anyway, all factors. Find the sum of the factors of n, which means what? All the factors. Okay, therefore, what you look at this, you take a look at this particular first part, 2 raised to power 3. Right, the next one, 2 raised to power 4 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1. Okay, similarly, right, for this becomes 3 raised to power 3 because there is a power 2. Change it to 3, make it one number more. To 3 raised to power 3 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 1. Okay, similarly for this, you write this as 5 square minus 1 divided by 5 minus 1. This is what you are writing. This is what is nothing but sum of the factors of 360. Can we simplify? Of course, yes. Yeah, this is 15 divided by 1. The next number is 26 divided by 2. The next number is 24 divided by 4. We can simplify this. Thereby, we form the answer. That is 15 into 13 into 12. We can multiply them. That gives me the final answer for this particular question. Right? That's not a problem. We can always calculate this. But this is the sum of all the factors of this particular number. In case somebody is interested, you can say that okay, this is 145, and then again you are making it another 12 there. So 15, 6 of 60, then 48, 54, and then you have 70, 1740. Right, which forms technically 1740, which is sum of all the factors of 360. That's a simple calculation. Hey, what is sum of prime factors? Oh, that's a very simple question. Prime factors, 2 is a prime factor, 3 is a prime factor, 5 is a prime factor. Sum of prime factors is 2 plus 3 plus 5. That is it. That is it. What is it? 10. Sum of all the prime factors is simply 10 because the given number has only 3 prime factors, right? Has only 3 prime. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Surojit. Yeah, thank you. This is 6. Thanks, my dear. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Right. Therefore, half of this particular number, right? Yeah. 807. Anyway, alright, when you calculate this, it becomes 870. Yeah, that's right. Thanks. Okay, so that forms this number. Okay, 10. So now composite factors of n. Composite factors of n, the popular answer would be 870 minus 10, which is nothing but 860. That's a popular answer, which is wrong. Right? Why popular? Why? How many? What numbers are not composite here? Now, always remember that 1 is the factor of every single number. 1 is the factor of every single number, which is neither composite nor prime. The smallest composite number is 4, right? Which is 1 is neither composite nor prime. So what are the things? First, let me understand that before I write composite factors, which factors I should eliminate, right? I should eliminate 1 because 1 is the factor which is neither prime nor composite. I should eliminate 2 because 2 is the prime factor for this number here. 2 is the prime factor. I should eliminate 3 because 3 is the prime factor. I should eliminate 5 because 5 is also a prime factor. I should eliminate all these fellows, right? I should eliminate them. Yeah, what is the sum of these fellows? Sum of all these fellows, sum, addition. Sum of all these fellows is 11. So how do I go about this question? Therefore, sum of all composite factors is total factors minus non-composite factors. Minus non-composite factors, total factors minus non-composite factors, the non-composite factors. Okay, what is the total factors? Sum of total factors 870. What is the sum of non-composite factors? 11. That is what I need to subtract to arrive at 859, which becomes the answer. Always remember that 1 is neither prime nor composite. 2 is the smallest prime. 4 is the smallest composite number. 2 is the smallest prime number. 4 is the smallest composite number. 1 is neither prime and nor composite, right? We got to always keep that in our mind. Okay, I will speak about these questions tomorrow. You can keep them as the homework. Take this as the homework for now. I will speak about these two questions tomorrow. So that fourth question, sum of all odd factors. Fifth question, sum of all even factors, right? Keep them as the homework, and then maybe I will tomorrow evening at 4ish I will discuss it, right? You can meet me, you can see me at 4 in the evening, and if you have any questions or the concerns, you can always get on to this particular Telegram channel and you can post your questions objectively out there. I will certainly try and help you out with some of your concerns. Right, yeah. So tomorrow I will see you again at 4 p.m. and if you have not gone through some of my factors chapter, I would rather suggest that please go through and have a look at the factors foundation, under which I spoke about factors for the last 2 or 3 days. Quickly go through some of those particular parameters what we discussed, because that would certainly help us for our tomorrow's and future lectures as well. Okay, that sets up the end of this particular lecture, and if you have liked it, mark like, and then you can always mark like whether you are watching it online or you are trying to see it once the lecture goes off. Doesn't matter. If you have liked the lecture, always mark like the lecture, and then you can you can put your short comments if there are some comments there offline that you are seeing, or on the Telegram channel you can always put that, and subscribe to this particular channel and press on the bell icon. Whenever I start the lecture, you will kind of get to know about it. Right, yeah. Okay, that's pretty much about today, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 4 in the evening. Bye till then, stay blessed. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thanks, Suraj. Thanks, Amita. Yeah, bye-bye.